I mean, one incident doesn't make you a failure. You have to keep trying.
Nothing worthwhile in life will come to you easily. You have to work towards it.
अगर इस इंडिया में कोई 50,000 स्क्वायर फीट का दुकान चलाएगा तो मैं चलाऊंगा. I learned one thing very early कि मांगने में कुछ नहीं जाता.
The key to starting your financial journey is obviously when you start saving money.
Retail is such a simple business that your grandmother can teach you the theories of retail. We keep saying we are a loyalty program, we are loyal to customers. No. The customers are loyal to you. Credit card and the credit ecosystem helps you meet the desire and deserve.
Yes.
And if that gap becomes higher, you are in a bad shape.
A lot of people who talk about money only talk about investments.
Retirement.
In the grave.
May not be that late, but yeah, quite close.
Start with you, Mr. Nagesh. One interesting anecdote in your book is that when you guys had started Shopper Stop and you used to go for these seminars, people would say, "Phir aa gaye dukaan wale." Do you think that's changed over these years? Because you've really ushered in a new era of modern retail in India.
Yeah, I think it has changed a lot, and hell of a lot. And let me tell you that anecdote as to where it started off with. I mean, कोई retail join ही नहीं करना चाहता था. You had to go beg and say, आ जाओ दुकान में काम करने के लिए, because दुकान was दुकानदारी. And this actually happened in ITM, which is an MBA college. I had gone there to do a session, and my colleague was also there. When he was crossing, somebody said, yeah, आ गया फिर दुकानदार. But let me tell you what it did. That day in the session, there were 30 kids, young people. One of the kids, young guy, came and told me, बड़ा अच्छा लगता है, I want to join retail, but I can't convince my parents. I said, if you love it, then go and convince your parents. To cut the story short, that gentleman joined us in 1994 as a management trainee. Today, if you have heard the name Skechers, the footwear company, Rahul Veera, he's the CEO of Skechers. Okay, so to me, we have seen a journey when people didn't want to come and join retail. We have seen a journey where there are hundreds and thousands and millions of people have joined retail and made some extremely good career.
You know, I think that you encapsulate that journey very well by saying that you started off with one shop and now over 4.5 million square feet of Shopper Stops all across India and the world.
Yes, we started with one, and that too is 2,800 square feet, which will be smaller than that hall there, with just 13 employees. And now there are 249 stores. It's a 5.5, 6,000 crore company. And yeah, almost about 45 million square feet. So hell of a lot of movement.
Yes.
And from one employee to 13 to now 6, 7,000 employees directly, indirectly, another 15 to 20,000 employees. And when I look at the current number going on the badge, my number was 0001. And now it is 51,000 something. So many people have come and gone into the industry. So it's a fabulous journey.
That brings you, Mr. Manoj, to your book as well. You also talk about it as a common man's journey. One thing that encapsulates the entire book is KISS. What is KISS?
In finance, the entire issue is we make it very complicated.
Yes.
And KISS talks about keep it simple and stupid. You know, you don't have to do complicated things in life. I think Mr. Nagesh would probably agree with it that simplicity is the foundation in which compounding can really play magical roles. And even on personal finance stuff, I try to even write my books which are very simple language books, story form, simple language, which everybody can understand. Because I have no financial degree. I am an electrical engineer. I moved to IT later on. No idea about personal finance, no idea about writing, and I reached financial freedom 10 years back when I quit my job, and today also I'm financially free. So a lot of youngsters typically think that financial freedom is बस job छूट जाए, घर पे बैठें और आराम करें और घूमें फिरें. That's not financial freedom. Financial freedom is a choice that you get that, okay, now you do something which you really love doing, even if it doesn't get money to you. That's freedom to me. With whom do I want to work? How much do I want to work? What field do I want to work? What time do I want to work? These are all freedoms, choices that you get in life. So freedom basically the choices in life. You want to be free to make your own choices. And your choices could be to elevate the world around you, to help someone, anything. In short, in our parlance, we call it as financial freedom is not free.
Yes.
It doesn't, nothing worthwhile in life, and I mean, we have examples in front of us. nothing worthwhile in life will come to you easily. You have to work towards it. So freedom is one such worthwhile goal. It took me 7, 8 years from scratch to reach there. At that time when I was earning very well, you know. And so, and you have to make sacrifices for that. I mean, your family has to sacrifice so many times for that.
Yes.
So it's not an easy goal, and don't look for easy things. I mean, all youngsters here who are sitting, I'll tell them, don't look for easy goals. Look for worthy goals. Easy things are not what's going to satisfy you. You know, what's going to satisfy you is if you achieve something worthwhile, and for that you have to work hard.
Absolutely. And you made also an interesting point that you don't have a finance degree. And Mr. Nagesh, that brings me to this interesting anecdote in your book where you say your amma always wanted you to be Dr. B.S. Nagesh, but you could never complete your PhD. But there was this kind of crazy passion you had about retail, about, you know, providing the premium shopping experience, and there are wonderful stories in your book. So talk to us a little bit about that. That it's not degrees that define you, but it's actually that passion that gave you, you know, sleepless nights, and that, you know, made you build a, you know, a brand to reckon with.
So actually, I almost failed in my 11th. Look at this. Everybody knows about this. I shouldn't have written in my book.
And
Yeah.
to add to him, I actually failed in 9th. He almost failed, I actually failed.
That deserves a round of applause.
So I was very, very disappointed because everybody in the family, and my family, my father, all 6 engineers, my mother's side, all 6 engineers, everybody's engineer and doctor. And it was a big disappointment in the family that I have become the black sheep of the family. So my dad called me and said, why are you so depressed? What's happened to you? I said, look at everybody saying I'm a failure because I just got the passing marks. So he asked me, how many students were in your class? I said, 11. What was your situation? I said, 7th. So he said, there were 3 guys, 4 guys behind you. I said, yes. So he said, you are a successful man. You are ahead of 4. I mean, that one thing changed my life. And after that, I have always been a topper on the top 10%. But what he told me is, I mean, one incident doesn't make you a failure. Okay, it is, you have to keep trying. And from that day till today, I have tried things which I have never done before. Because when you do something new, you don't have any baggage. If you do something new, you go and talk to everybody and says, you know, I don't know this, you know this, can you tell me? So the word I don't know actually emerged from there. And the same thing happened this Pagalpan when I was running a chain of retail stores out of Corona, and I said, ये 500 square feet का दुकान चला के थक गया हूँ. अगर इस इंडिया में कोई 50,000 square feet का दुकान चलाएगा तो मैं चलाऊँगा. And Rejas came with a property which was 50,000 square feet, and coincidentally the headhunter knew my boss, and my boss knew कि ये पागल है, साउथ में बैठा हुआ 50,000 square की बात करता है. मिले, and I got the job. And I got the job, and I was the first employee of the company, and I met my boss, and he says, in 90 days you have to start. Okay, no company, no team, no brand, no logo, no certificate, nothing, no email, and of course that time nothing was there. And he asked me, 90 days हो जाएगा? I said, हो जाएगा. Abhi when I tell people, say, how the hell did you agree on 90 days? I said, मुझे पता ही नहीं था कि 90 days में नहीं होता है. So when you're carrying a baggage, you have these problems, but you're not carrying a baggage. For us, everything was possible.
Yes.
We opened in 87 days.
Yes.
So, and that's how the beginning of Shoppers.
You've been pretty daring, Mr. Nagesh, because I mean there are stories that are absolutely fascinating where there was some event that Shopper Stop was supposed to collaborate on. It was a big event. You've organized crazy events from the Disney event to the WWF event, etc. But that one event where you just had 4 lakh rupees and the event needed 10 lakh rupees, but you saw one opportunity and you seized it. I think that would be pretty interesting for youngsters here to know that there's always one little opportunity staring at you, you just have to seize it.
Yeah, so there are 2 parts of it. Every challenge in life has an opportunity, okay? And I do this in many colleges and schools. I divide the school in 2 and said, you post the challenge and you see the opportunity. We've almost been able to match, okay? It's always there. So opportunities, if you do a festival, will bring a lot of customers, they'll feel happy. Challenges, we don't have the money. But I learned one thing very early, कि मांगने में कुछ नहीं जाता, okay? And for the last 40 years, I've always had my hand like this. Whether it is sponsors, now I go to my donors doing the same thing. So it was easy. Once we said we will do it, and the whole team was like this. Our whole team in the first 4 years had no retail background, no fashion background. किसी को retail के बारे में पता नहीं था. हमको पता ही नहीं था हम क्या नहीं कर सकते.
And you say there was no MBA in retail at
There was no MBA in retail. And actually the first lessons in MBA in retail in this country, I went with my team and did it in Narsi Monji. Right. It's fabulous. So I will only say that there's nothing is impossible as long as you believe in it. So it was so easy. We went, I mean, this was a festival. We went and looked at tens of sponsors, and finally we managed to get a sponsor. Much more. Not only that, there was the next event where we had 10 lakhs and we had to get 40 lakhs.
Yes.
And that event, I went and spoke to the British embassy to say, I want to British goods in India.
Yeah.
And we were only 2 stores. So they laughed. He says, 25 crore ki company, a British wallow se, you're tying up to bring the British festival. Of course, there's been a lot of problems after that,
Yes,
which
I
also is
think
mentioned.
that's interesting because some journalist wrote something bizarre saying that Shoppers Stop has brought the Britishers back to India.
Yes. In fact, after we did the festival, it was very successful. A journal in Bangalore wrote, it took us hundreds of years to throw them out, and they have brought them back. Okay, and we were very depressed with that. And we said, no, we have to sort it out. So we said, let's do something else. Next year, we launched a program called Parikrama.
Yes.
Okay, it was the Festival of India in every store. Oh, it was a huge success. And we went to such stupidity that one lady in Mumbai came to our store and said, good that you are doing festivals like this. हमारे बच्चों को तो पता ही नहीं है कि दूध कहाँ से आता है. So the store manager of a Bandra store next day brought a cow and a calf into the store and said, आके देखो कहाँ से दूध निकलता है. I think that's fun. That's fun.
Mr. Manoj, you talk about building a security net, because if you want to seize an opportunity, if you want to go out there and do something risky or radical, then you have to have a security net.
Yeah, I think in terms of financials or in terms of any effort that you put in life, compounding is the magical factor everywhere. It's the time which plays the most critical role when you have to compound. The whole idea here is to start early. You know, whatever you want to do, you start early and then see the magic of compounding. I'll give you a very simple example. It's there in the book also. You take a very simple sheet of paper that you have in your hand, just fold it in half, okay, and do 50 such folds. Double it up 50 times. So just by folding it 50 times, the height of that paper it can take you to the moon. It's thousands of kilometers, you know, and the magical thing is one more year of compounding. One more fold, and it'll come back, it'll double up again. So whatever you achieved in 50 years, it gets done in 1 year after that. Yes. So the key is, how do you give it time? I mean, either you do it later in life or you start early.
I want to say something which is contrarian to what he has said. So I personally believe that at whatever stage, if you can compound your energies towards the purpose that you have, financial freedom and financial outcome is a given. Okay, but I have seen a lot of people who just keep chasing financial goals, okay, and they lose sight of their purpose. And when you're chasing financial goal and you lose sight of the purpose, you have a lot of money but no happiness. I think to me it is important that you be very clear on what your purpose in life is, and then have your financial goals. It actually helps you do it, okay?
Perfect.
So coming to IT, we were the first ERP implementation of retail in Asia. And nobody was willing to come to India to implement, and I had to go out and beg them to come, beg. Pay them hotel, pay them air flight to come.
That takes us to the earlier point कि मांगने में कुछ नहीं जाता.
मांगने में कुछ नहीं. No, I literally begged them and got them here, and they implemented that. But unfortunately, I made a mistake because we didn't have money. We were a 28 crore company when we invested 10 crore in IT. Yeah, we didn't have any more money to get an international implementing guy, so we gave it to a domestic implementation company, and they screwed up, and we lost. We lost hell of a lot of money. One more journal story. There was a big front cover which says, has India's largest department store failed? And inside was a 4-page story which talked about how the CEO has got 2 strands of gray hair trying to resolve this, yeah?
You've had some crazy experiences with journalists.
Oh, yeah, wonderful. I can write another book, but a lot of them are good ones, okay? So what happened this was, I got a call from a store manager in Jaipur. He says, sir, how can a journal write off a company? And he says, can we do something about it? And we said, yes, we are going to do something, and we turned around the company next year. And there's a huge story about it. But coming to IT or no IT, it happened after 4 years. We were awarded the best Asian implementation and all that. But I'll tell you what mistake we did. In hindsight, we shouldn't have done it, yeah? We first selected the system, technology. Then we actually looked for the money. And then we looked for people to manage that. I think that was a big mistake. I mean, we should have, in hindsight, got the people, build the capability to understand properly, ensure that you have the financial resources, and then go for a technology like that. Right. So that was a big mistake with that. But after that, we learned and...
Right. Interesting. But coming back to the earlier sort of disagreement that you guys had at Mr. Manoj, coming to the point you make about financial freedom, you also integrate life into it to an extent. And I think that's the most interesting thread in your book, because you talk about who to trust with your money, keeping family involved in this journey of wealth creation and wealth accumulation, keeping your partner invested in this entire process. Talk to us a little bit about that, because this can be from building a portfolio to sort of investing in the right stocks, it can be a daunting journey. And so to be able to create trusted partners in that journey, that's a very interesting thread in your book.
So I think the key to starting your financial journey is obviously when you start saving money, you know. So you're earning well. I think that's one of the myths which people carry, that to be rich or to be financially free, you got to earn a lot of money. Of course, you got to earn money, but what gets invested is not your income. What gets invested is your saving.
Right.
And between income and savings is expenses that you do every month. And you are not the only one in the family, so the expenses are being done by all members of the family. So if they're not together, you know, in this journey, it becomes difficult for you, you know, and it can cause family tussles, issues as well. So it's very important to keep your family involved. And see, again, coming to what Mr. Nagesh was saying, and to your point also, it's so important to understand why do you need freedom. You know, that's the key point which we talk about in the book. And there are a lot of people whom we coach on financial freedom, and we tell them that if you don't know what you're going to do after being financially free, you please continue doing your jobs or businesses or whatever you're doing. Because there has to be a very strong reason why you want to be financially free. So everybody has their own reasons. So it's very important that we integrate this entire concept of freedom, that freedom is not your goal. It's a milestone, you know, it's a means by which you can accumulate much bigger goals.
But speaking of a larger purpose, Mr. Nagesh, you know, in your book you talk about, your book is titled Serve, and this spirit of customer service, which I think is so unique to Shoppers Stop. The spirit of customer service and the stories you talk about how there was a woman who once came to shop for an anniversary gift for her husband, and some associate overheard her conversation on the phone and then went above and beyond in wrapping that gift for that woman. And interestingly, in Shoppers Stop, and this is something I got to know after reading the book, that every town hall meeting, you have your associates share these stories. So how important has that been in this entire journey of building a brand like Shoppers Stop?
See, I think it's just not to do with just Shoppers Stop. Any business, unless you are aligned and are centric to customer or client, your business cannot survive. Yeah. Okay, everybody has to be customer-centric. In this case, what happened was, because we had no clue about how to run a retail business, and there were no consultant in this country to teach us about retail, the only consultants we found were our customers. In fact, retail is such a simple business that your grandmother can teach you the theories of retail.
Yes.
You know, I'll just give you an anecdote. I used to go to the gym in the morning at 6:30. I stopped going there. Because I'm on the gym trying to relieve all my nonsense in my head and wanting to gym, and then next door, Mr. Nagesh, you know the shirt that you had kept, if you had kept this color. And so everybody can advise. A very, very simple business. And therefore, when he was saying financial is very simple, my definition of retail is the simplest business in the world, complicated by mankind. No, we have it's just simple, yaar, paisa do aur saman lo aur ghar chale jao. If you look at the whole ethos of building a customer-centric organization was not a strategy or my brainchild, because we started talking to customers to learn from them, and we started responding to what they were doing. Okay, it started growing on us. And actually some customers got fed up of me, because 60% of my time I used to be outside the store, meeting customers. Then I said, okay, aap naam address de do, ek lottery nikal denge. Then after some years, my secretary left me, a new person came and said, there are some box full of chits lying there. When I opened the chits, we had 40,000 chits, which means we in my team had met 40,000 customers over the 4 years on a one-on-one basis. And I said, these are my first customers, and that's where we started the First Citizens Club, which is today the world's largest contributing loyalty program in department stores. We get 75% business from them. So honestly, in COVID, in tough times, if we have survived, it's not because we are smart. It's because our customers came to us to help us. Yeah. Right. And I have heard statements like this, कि नागेश जी आपको जो problem हो रहा तो आपने हमको लिखा क्यों नहीं? अरे हम 1000 की जगह 2000 खरीद लेते. So we think customer is on the other side. I say customer is as a stakeholder of your company as you or your shareholders
And
are.
I think you make that point in the book also, that customers are not just buyers, they're partners.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I can give another example for ours together as to how customers can be partners. And this is important for us. So if we go back to customers time and again and genuinely ask their help, oh, they're more than willing to come. And let's also remember, we keep saying we are a loyalty program, we are loyal to customers. No, no. The customers are loyal to you. If you become loyal, there'll be a great relationship.
Yes.
Yeah, because they left 10 shops and come to your shop, which means they've showed loyalty towards you.
Yes. But Mr. Nagesh, now of course we're living in the times of UPI and phone pay. But a lot of customers come with credit cards. And Mr. Manoj says, throw those credit cards away.
Mm.
Why is that? Why are you make that point in the book also, that you're anti-credit cards. There was a time when credit cards was a status
his
symbol.
book says throw the credit cards on the cash counter
On the
of
cash
Shoppers
counter
Stop.
of Shoppers Stop, yes. But Mr. Manoj.
On the cash counter, you can use the debit card. There is no
Yes.
problem. So actually, this idea is the entire idea of talking about credit cards is to build a certain discipline. So when I was on the journey, I didn't use a credit card that time, and I recommend youngsters to try and avoid using a credit card. Use a debit card, UPI. Nowadays, there's so many mode of transactions available. After you think you are disciplined enough or you've reached financial freedom, have one or two credit cards, not more than that. It's not needed. There's no point. The entire idea is inculcating discipline, and discipline is one of the founding philosophies of achieving freedom or for achieving any worthwhile goal, I would say. So the whole idea was only discipline.
Also, Vedant, since a lot of youngsters sitting here, see, there is a large gap between deserve and desire in the youth. Okay, I desire this. Okay, that definition is clear. But what I deserve or what I'm capable of earning is not there. So the credit card and the credit ecosystem helps you meet the desire and deserve.
Yes.
And if that gap becomes higher, you are in a bad shape. If you can manage with debit card or manage with them, it's fabulous.
Yes. And that brings me to the point, Mr. Manoj, that you also make in your book, that a moneyed life or a financially free life, perhaps, is not an aspirational life as many. It's something that a common man can practice. It's something that is achievable, accessible to a common man.
I don't know how you will define a common man, but I am sitting right in front of you. I have no financial background. I have no writing background also, by the way. I just started writing 10
This
years.
is the only 7th book.
It's the only 7th book. And I had no inheritance. I had a starting salary of 5,000 rupees. So the point I'm trying to make is, if you are serious about it, if you have a worthwhile goal or a reason to achieve freedom, anyone can do it. But how many will do it? Now, anyone can be Mr. Nagesh. Anyone can be. I mean, in spite of the fact that whatever accomplishments he has in his life, but anyone can be in his place. But how many will actually get there? Because what it will demand, that any journey like this, what it will demand is focus, discipline, reason. These are the things. Now, and that is where it becomes tough. So, for example, if I ask you to save 20,000 rupees every month, you say, okay, I can do that. But if I say, okay, keep doing it, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, every month you have to do it and track it. Now that is where,
So
and when you
yeah.
see that iPhone 17 coming up,
Yeah.
and if you can resist that, then you have a strong discipline.
lot to resist.
Yeah, there's a lot. I'm just giving an example. So all
Yeah.
I'm saying is, it's not difficult. It's not complex. It demands a certain level of discipline and focus and a reason. If you have that strong reason, you will do it. Otherwise, only 2% people actually achieve freedom, even once they start on the journey. But it's not that people cannot do it or it's complex or not possible to do it. It's just that the discipline and reason is missing.
But Mr. Manoj, a lot of people here in the audience would also want to know, what is the key to, you talk about tracking also a great deal in your book, but you talk about 4 levers, which are essential to having a hassle-free relationship with money or wealth or saving. Talk to us about that. A lot of the people here would want to know.
A lot of people who talk about money only talk about investments. And that's just one lever, to build wealth. But people actually fail to talk about expense control, moving away from the herd and focusing on your goal. These are the levers which people are not talking about, and that's what I want to really emphasize to youngsters here today, that it is so important that if you have a goal in mind, if you want to do something different, something beautiful, something worthwhile in life, it will not be achieved with the herd, because that's not your herd's goal. You have to separate yourself from the herd. and track your own goals. Otherwise, if you do what everybody is doing, you will achieve the goals of the herd, which unfortunately may not be yours.
Yes.
So that is something which I want to tell everyone, that if somebody is buying an iPhone, you have the money to buy it, or if somebody is buying a bigger car, you have the money to buy it, but you are doing self-control not to do it because you have a goal, because you have a reason. And that levers people are not talking about. And in what we coach, when we coach people on financial freedom, these are the things we lay emphasis on. How to track your money, how to track your spends, see which spends are increasing too fast. Very small things. I can challenge you here that out of 100 people you interview, everybody will be tracking their income and their investments.
Nowadays, you have a lot of these apps also that help you track your expenses, track your savings, track your
Yeah, of
income.
course.
Are you averse to those apps?
No, not at all. I mean, whatever way you do it, but it is important that, see, if everything gets automated, then a lot of times what's happening to your expenses doesn't get registered in your mind, and it's all a game of mind. When you see that the money is moving out of your hands, whether it's in the form of cash or whether it's in the form of, you're tracking it and hence you're seeing it, then it starts subconsciously telling your mind that certain things, certain expense heads are going far away. And then subconsciously the control comes in.
Yes.
So that's why we say that whatever you can track, you can improve. So it's so important that you track it, even if you're doing it with apps or the latest technology, but make sure you really seriously go through the data. Just don't make everything so automatic that you're not even aware
Yes,
of what is happening.
yes.
Yeah?
You talked about tracking customers and customer feedback and customer complaints. You tracked a customer down to New Jersey and you delivered clothes to the customer's doorstep.
Yeah.
And that's fascinating.
No, this again shows of the purpose and commitment. And this is very interesting. 1992, November, we sold a fabric worth 1 lakh to one individual who was a foreigner, Indian from New Jersey. And we were supposed to deliver the garment in the first week. Garment was ready. On the day we were supposed to deliver, there was a riot in Mumbai and the whole city was closed. And this customer was at the airport and he says, I'm going, there's no way I can collect this. So our store manager, Mr. Raymond Kolako, he said, sir, don't worry, we will arrange to send it by courier. He didn't even check that the law did not allow ready-made garments to be sent by courier. You have to cut buttons and send. Finished garment you can't send. And all said and done, Mr. Raymond decided that if it has to be delivered, it has to be delivered. So he went and met an Air India employee and said, boss, तुम लोगों को ये पास मिलता है ना आने जाने का, तुम अपना पास यूटिलाइज करके मेरा पार्सल न्यू जर्सी डिलीवर करके आ सकते हो क्या? And I'll give you 10,000 rupees for that. So that guy had a free pass. He went, delivered and came back and 10,000 rupees we gave. That 1 lakh fabric, our margin was 20%, 20,000 rupees. Because it was a 1 lakh, we had given 10,000 discount. And Mr. Raymond went and spent 10,000 on delivery. I was not aware of this. And Raymond never told, and if he had asked me, maybe I would have said, no, you can't do this. Ho gaya. 3 साल के बाद they were doing some analysis and I'm finding there are lots of Gujaratis coming from New Jersey and shopping with us. What is the connection of New Jersey and shopping? So I started asking customers and they said, no, there is one customer in New Jersey who was told, अगर कोई भी मुंबई जाएगा ना, तो यहीं से shop करो. Because ये लोग तो हमको घर पे delivery देते हैं. Look at this. And when I asked Raymond about this, he said simply, sir, I had made a commitment. Now look at, and he is not the general manager, he is the department manager, he is 3 levels down to me. But for him, customer is important. And in his mind, it was there that it is right for the customer. I will take care of Mr. Nagesh. I know how to fight with him. That's ownership. I think somebody in the morning said, ownership is not about shareholding. Ownership is holding the situation and managing the situation as if it is your own.
And you've seen a lot of those times. In a sense, Shoppers Stop has grown with India. And when I read the book, it's almost like being privy to a journey that this country has gone through. There was time there was no retail. You ushered in modern retail. Converting that old theater into a showroom. So there are these beautiful instances that also talk about how a brand grows with the times. A brand grows with the country that it inhabits. So that's very interesting.
I think it's also about trying to understand the customer closer. And we have made a lot of mistakes. I think there's a chapter dedicated only on mistakes. And I keep telling people that whether you read any other part of it, read chapter number 13 because it's only about mistakes. And I also keep telling people, boss, if you have to get into retail, you read about me and Mr. Kishore Biani. The two of us have done the maximum mistakes in this country on retail. तो आप लोग नया mistake मत करो ना, हम लोग करके बैठे हुए हैं. So when you do mistakes, you learn from it. But the biggest thing I want to share here is, just because you've done a mistake, which people may call it as a failure, don't stop trying. I think that's the biggest problem. If you look at it, journey of shoppers, okay, we've done so many mistakes, and the mistakes have been enormous. And let me tell you, till 2005, when the company became public, everybody thought I am the owner of Shopper Stop. Now I got a call, Nagesh, you got 2,000 crores. Nobody knew that I'm an employee. But because it was my company. So ownership is very, very critical. And that's the way only that you can take it. And try, never give up, never give up.
And I think, Mr. Manoj, you make that point also. Before calling it a day, I think that's what you say in your book as well. Before calling it a day, keep trying. Rewards will come, and rewards will come big. So all of those people who are beginning their financial journey, just made their portfolio or just started trading or whatever, don't call it a day yet.
Yeah, I mean, when you passionately chase any goal, I think Mr. Nagesh was so beautifully explaining how passionate he was. So, I mean, I was passionate about my freedom goal for a certain phase of life. So, when you're passionately chasing anything, nature starts to conspire, you know, as the dialogue of Shah Rukh Khan film. And initially it was written in a book by Paulo. The nature starts to conspire to help you because you're so passionate, you're giving it so much energy that it has to come back to you.
God's watching you.
Yeah,
That's a rare advice for a financial
I
guru.
remember I had my freedom goal set. I was in IBM and I had to quit the job, but then I was behind my plan. And suddenly, out of the blue, I realized that I've been given a raise, and there's a special bonus coming in. I mean, I was not expecting all that. I didn't work for that. You know, these are the things which you don't plan for it. They just happen to you when you're passionately being driven, you know.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, God is always with you when you're doing something beautiful.
That's a great note to end the session on. I'll quickly do a rapid fire. Money. The first thing, one word.
No happiness.
Freedom.
Okay. Moonlighting.
Keep doing, always.
Same, ditto.
Mentor or role model.
Multiple of them. Can't name a single.
Right now, Mr. Nagesh.
Startup.
Love it.
Yeah, anytime.
One movie that changed your life.
Recently, it didn't change my life, but it gave me a new direction, was the Lapata Ladies.
Interesting.
3 Idiots.
Okay. Family.
Love it, but didn't give them enough time in the early years.
Everything for me.
Retirement.
In the grave.
May not be that late, but yeah, quite close.
A 72-hour work week.
I mean, this is the problem. I don't know why English has defined work and life. For me, if you don't live the work, there's no life. And if you don't work the life, there's no life. So why distinguish between work and life?
I mean, I totally agree. And I was telling you, I'm working more than what I used to work. So it's about loving your work. That's it. I mean, there's no work after that.
Yes.
I mean, just loving everything that's happening around. Yeah.
That's life.
That's life. So that's a great note to end the session on. Thanks so much, Mr. Nagesh and Mr. Manoj.